Is what you're eating helping or hurting your heart and your brain? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory issues, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a classroom teacher for over 30 years, I've talked a lot about the do's and the don'ts. And sometimes it's just as important to know what you should not do as to know what you should do. Both are sometimes important. And you should know what you're eating that is helping your brain and your heart. And you should eat more and more of those on a regular basis. And you should also know what you should not be eating because it's hurting or damaging your heart and your brain. And we've talked about how what's good for your heart is good for your brain. And this is February still, so we're talking about the heart. We're heart focused, but they go hand in hand. What's good for your heart is good for your brain. So if you caught my last video, it was called It Matters, and it was talking about what you eat matters because food can be the best medicine, or food can be a slow poison. So it matters what you eat. And so today we're going to talk a bit more about your heart, specifically about your blood vessels, because your blood vessels, as you know, are so very, very important both to your heart and to your brain. Whatever your brain receives comes from your blood vessels. Your blood vessels carry it up to your brain, delivers it to your brain. So they are very, very important. And do you know that in your brain, they say you have 400 miles of blood vessels. So there's all kinds of room for a disaster to strike. And we know about aneurysms, when one of those blood vessels pop in your brain, what can happen. And you know, we usually think that, you automatically die, but you don't. Everyone doesn't die who has an aneurysm. About half of them do. About 50% of them die within, first 24 hours or up to like 3-6 months afterwards. They do die from having an aneurysm, but everyone doesn't die. But if you don't die, a lot of people have permanent damage that's been done. And a very small percentage of people sail through it and they don't have any problems. Count their blessings. But I don't think you want to take those kind of chances. I think you want to go on the preventive route instead of taking a chance to see if you'll be one of the lucky ones that don't experience any damage. And so that's why we're talking about blood vessels and nutrition today, because the causes of aneurysms are, well, we know about trauma, concussions, being hit upside your head, or something penetrating, which we don't think a lot about, but something can penetrate your head. Well, we know about a bullet penetrating your head. We're not talking about just a bullet. We're talking about any type of tool, or it doesn't even have to be a tool. It can just be something that sticks into your head and causes that trauma. Or it can be a contusion. It can bruise the inside of your brain and have it to start bleeding and cause a problem that way. Those are all kinds of traumas, and there's not a lot. I mean, we can do some preventive things and we can be careful, but we don't have a whole lot of control over some of that. Another way that you can have an aneurysm is hereditary, and there's just about not too much at all you can do about that, but that is a cause of some aneurysms. Another one is plaque, atherosclerosis, plaque in your arteries. Now that you can do something about, okay? Trying to prevent a lot of plaque accumulating in your arteries. And the other one is high blood pressure. That one you can also do something about combating that. So we're going to talk about what you can do nutritionally concerning your plaque buildup and concerning your high blood pressure, so that your blood vessels are as healthy and as strong as they need to be. Okay, so the first thing you need to decide to do is to monitor your food intake. You can't just eat any and everything. I know when you were little, when you were a child, you know, you run around, you ate any and everything. You know, some people talk about, you know, my stomach is strong as iron or whatever, and they just eat any and everything. They guzzle down all the sugar or whatever, not knowing that it is actually having an effect on them. But you need to consciously monitor what you eat, especially in the world that we live in. Unfortunately, our world tempts us with a lot of things that are unhealthy, as I know you know. They call it the SAD diet, the Standard American Diet, SAD, SAD, and it's sad because it's sad. It's pitiful what they call food. The SAD diet, and you need to monitor that, because guess what? We need to start thinking about feeding ourselves instead of being fed. We've gotten to the point where we put anything in our mouth. They make up anything. They come up with anything. Slap on some color and some sugar or salt or something on it, and you're ready to stick it in your mouth. You have no idea what's in it. You know what they say is in it when they give it to you, but now they're coming with all kind of different names, even though they're labeling stuff. You can't even, you read the label, you still don't know what they're talking about, because they don't want you to know what they're talking about. But what you do know is, like they say, you know, if grandma doesn't know what it says or doesn't recognize that word, then maybe you should not be eating it. So we need to really pull back from being fed. We are not babies. We are able to feed ourselves, to make our own food. And the closer you get to making it from the harvest, the better it's going to be for you. I'm not saying you have to have a garden yourself. You don't have to go out and plant a garden if you don't want to, although that is a good idea. But you can still get food that is whole food and prepare it yourself and feed it to yourself instead of being fed whatever's in that box. Okay, I'll get off that. But do you know that I know you know the movie The Matrix? That's one of my favorites. The original, the first one, The Matrix. And I really like that movie. And in the movie, I was thinking about it. In the movie, you know the part where Neil is unplugged. You know, near the beginning of it, when he decides, you know, he's going to go down, and they start popping off all those hoses off him because he gets unconnected, unplugged from that matrix. That's what we need to decide to do. We need to unplug ourselves from the SAD diet. Unplug yourself from being fed and start feeding yourself. Okay? So we need to concentrate on strengthening our heart and our brain, and not eating things that are weakening it. We need to concentrate on supporting, giving us foods that's going to support our brain health and our heart health, and not things that are putting it at risk. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do? They say a plant-based diet, that plant-based nutrition, enables the cells, especially the linings in your artery, it enables them to repair and heal. Plant-based nutrition. And also it's able to dilate your arteries, which is something you also wanted to do. And you know that's what you want for your heart and for your brain. You have all those blood vessels in your brain. If your brain is not getting what it needs, it's going to atrophy. The cells are going to die. Okay? So you're going to eat those foods that will dilate your arteries, that will regulate your blood pressure, that will lower your blood sugar levels, and that will shrink or reduce the plaque that's in your arteries. Okay, so you need to eat foods that will do that. And guess what? We got all kinds of food choices. that will do that. You just have to recognize what they are, and you just have to purpose to eat those foods, feeding them to yourself. Okay? Likewise, on the other side of the coin, you're going to have to avoid certain things, eliminate certain things, reduce certain things that are hurting and harming your blood vessels, like sugar. Sugar is not your friend. It is not your friend. It does hurtful and damaging and harmful things, constricts your arteries, makes them rigid and inflexible. You don't want sugar. And over a long time, they will damage. It'll bring a lot of damage to your arteries. That's why people that have diabetes also start having problems with their blood pressure, because they're having problems with their arteries. Okay? Excessive alcohol or caffeine. You know that caffeine increases your blood pressure. So you're all active, you're all happy, but you know it's doing that by it's increasing your blood pressure and it's raising your blood pressure, and that's not necessarily a good thing, especially if you already have high blood pressure. Okay, and alcohol, excessive alcohol, is not your friend. Yeah, they say, actually, if you're a woman, for those of you that drink, if you're a woman, you should only have one drink, no more than one drink a day. And if you're a man, you can have two if you're under 65. So that lets a lot of y'all off. A lot of you are regulated back to the one. If you're over 65, you should be still on those 2 drinks a day. No. That's only for the youngins, not for you. Okay? That's just thought I'd throw it in there. Okay. Also, what else you need to avoid? Trans fats. Don't just avoid them. X them. Don't have them. Eliminate them. Read those labels. Do not have them. Processed foods. Just going to say processed foods, you need to read the label for the exception, because guess what? You probably shouldn't have it, shouldn't be eating it. It's not good for you with the unhealthy fats that are in there and all those preservatives and things, unless you read the label and it says that it doesn't have it in there, which I doubt it's going to say that most of the time. But anyway, yeah, so stay away from those things, and you'll be doing your heart and your brain a favor. Now, I hope you saw my video that I did the other day. It was on It Matters. Also, I didn't tell you where to find it. You can find it on my Facebook page, Keep Your Brain Sharp. It's there. And also, I just finished putting up the list of Eat This, Not That for your heart and your brain on that Facebook page as well, Keep Your Brain Sharp. So you can go there and you can find specifically, because we talk about berries, blueberries and cherries. You talk about garlic and celery and cinnamon and all the things. And I have it listed for the ones that are the dilators, that dilate your vessels, the ones that reduce your blood pressure, the ones that help shrink and slow down your plaque buildup, and also lowering your blood sugar, like drinking a lot of water and chili pepper, things like that. So go and look on the page, Keep Your Brain Sharp, Facebook page, and you can find that list posted there. If you don't see it posted, then look, of course, in the guide section under charts and lists, and it'll be there. Okay, and it'll just itemize those things for you, specifically what foods we're talking about. Okay, so also I am so happy to announce that my free master classes are starting, guys. Yay, my free master classes. So if you go on my website, keepyourbrainsharp.com, on the cover first page, you will see a little link that you click on that will take you to registering for my 2-day Better Brain Masterclass. And you can sign up for the dates that accommodate you best. Starts next week, so there's still time for you to sign up for the ones that are for next week. I am so excited. You will not regret it. Find out what every brain needs. Yes. And of course, my YouTube channel is up, and I posted a couple more videos on there, so please subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you if you have. Please subscribe to my YouTube page as well. Keep Your Brain Sharp. Okay, so you need to remember that you're not stuck with the brain that you have. You also need to remember that what's good for your heart is good for your brain. So why not knock those two birds with one stone? Take care of both of those things. Take care of yourself, because your brain's destiny is in your hands.